I'm so glad Star Trek realized it wasn't too late to fix TNG's two biggest romance mistakes. When Star Trek: The Next Generation ended in 1994, it left behind an impressive legacy: bold sci-fi storytelling, memorable characters, and thought-provoking themes. But even in a show that reached for the stars, not everything was executed with perfect precision. Chief among its shortcomings were the two glaring romantic arcs that never quite soared the way they should have: Jean-Luc Picard and Beverly Crusher's decades-long will they won't they, and the missed opportunity between Worf and Deanna Troi. For years, these relationships remained unresolved or abruptly abandoned. That is, until Star Trek. Picard and Star Trek: Lower Decks did something many fans thought impossible. They finally fixed them. These romantic arcs weren't just side plots. They were emotional linchpins that helped humanize some of the show's most stoic characters. So when TNG tiptoed around these potential pairings without satisfying resolution, fans were left with the feeling that something essential had been left unsaid. Thankfully, Star Trek has recently proven that it's never too late to make things right. Picard and Crusher: Love lost, then found again. Captain Jean-Luc Picard and Dr. Beverly Crusher had one of the most tantalizing slow burns in sci-fi television. From the very first episode, their shared history was teased. Picard had served with Beverly's late husband, and their mutual respect was laced with obvious affection. Throughout TNG, their chemistry was undeniable, especially in moments like the Season 4 episode Family, or the mind-bonding telepathic intimacy in Attached. Yet for all the build-up, the writers never pulled the trigger. By the time Star Trek: Nemesis rolled around, their relationship had gone cold, and Crusher was barely even a footnote in the film. It felt like a betrayal, not only of the character's history, but of the emotional groundwork TNG had spent 7 seasons laying. For fans, it was a heartbreak by omission. But Star Trek: Picard Season 3 corrected that wrong in a spectacular, bittersweet way. Not only did we learn that Picard and Crusher had finally acted on their feelings in the years after Nemesis, but that they shared something far more permanent: a son, Jack Crusher. This revelation added decades of emotional depth, regret, and longing to their story. The third season gave Picard and Beverly the space to confront their history, their mistakes, and ultimately, their enduring love. Instead of brushing over their romantic arc, Picard treated it as central to the character's emotional journey. It wasn't perfect. Decades of unresolved tension and hurt don't vanish overnight, but it finally felt honest. Their story had always been one about missed chances and unspoken love. Now, it had a second act. And it mattered. Worf and Troi. Canonically closed, but lovingly honored. While Picard and Crusher's romance simmered in the background, Worf and Troy's late series relationship was much more of a surprise. Introduced in TNG's final season, their connection began after Worf experienced an alternate timeline in Parallels, which hinted at a future where he and Deanna were married. That spark spilled into the real timeline, and by the end of the series, the two had embarked on a cautious but affectionate courtship. Then Star Trek: Insurrection came out, and it was like none of it ever happened. Troi was suddenly back with Riker, and Worf's romantic development was left on the cutting room floor. Fans were left baffled. Had the Worf/Troi arc meant nothing? While Riker and Troy's marriage in Star Trek: Nemesis brought some emotional payoff, it came at the cost of disregarding what had been a genuine, if unconventional, love story between two very different people. Enter Star Trek: Lower Decks, the animated series known for its self-aware humor and deep-cut references. In the episode Parth Ferengi's Heart Place, Commander Riker casually acknowledges the past romance between Worf and Troi, and does so without jealousy, mockery, or discomfort. It's a small moment, but a powerful one. For the first time, Star Trek canon openly embraced the Worf/Troi relationship as real, valid, and meaningful. It was a gift to longtime fans. It didn't try to rewrite history or reignite the romance, because Troi and Riker's bond is now well established, but it did something even